Here are some tips on making sure that your makeup does not ruin your photography. Welcome to another Tip Tuesday, and today I will be talking to you about making sure that your makeup does not ruin your photography. Now, a disclaimer here, I'm not a makeup artist. These are things that I've come across in my work as a photographer at events, weddings, celebrations, etc., where the clients hire a makeup artist. And these are just some of the challenges that we faced and how to work around them. As a photographer, one of the big challenges that we are always faced with is the fact that women want to look gorgeous in photos, and sometimes makeup can ruin that. Now, I'm not to say that makeup artists don't know what they're doing, but sometimes the makeup that's done for the events, the live, like people's eyes, does not work with the photos, does not work with the camera. And what can end up happening, you end up with situations where people look very yellow or very shiny on the face and the rest of the body is matte compared to the face, or it's darker compared to the face. And that looks very unpleasant. And we have to bear the brunt, because then the client is like, well, you're supposed to do your job properly. Why is my face yellow? Why is my face bright? Why is my face shiny? Etc., etc. And the reality of it is that for us as photographers to fix this in post takes a lot of time, and because of that, it's an expensive process, because obviously we charge our rates by how much work goes into a gig, how much work we have to do after, as well as how much work we have to do on site. So because I'm there for 6 hours, it doesn't mean that I'm done working. I still have to put in another 12 hours to edit your photos, who knows. And then what happens is that for us as photographers to fix this, it's so much time, and we don't charge for this. So we clients should not expect us to be able to do like full-on airbrushing for an event booking, because when we talk about photography like that, we're talking about specialist photo shoots and specialist photographers, and those things cost an arm and a leg. And unfortunately, just for events, that's not what you are paying for. Now, one of the big ones, the obvious ones, obviously, is when people use foundation that's lighter than their skin. And this is very common. It's more common than people realize. People want to have this glow when they do their makeup and their face beads. And then they end up with foundation on the face that's lighter than their actual skin tone. Then what happens is, over here, this part here becomes a problem, because now you've got your face looking lighter than your neck, right? And when the event is going on, it might not seem obvious. It may not seem obvious. You may not even perceive it at all. But when that light hits the camera, it makes a huge difference. And when we start editing the photos, trying to balance out the colors and balance out the exposure and how bright everything is in the photo, suddenly it just pops like that. Now you've got your neck looking 2 shades darker than your face, and it looks horrible. And then someone can come back to us and be like, fix this. I can't fix it, because me fixing it means I have to paint over your neck, which will take me time. And that time, the client is not paying for. So one of the things that I think I've come to realize is that the conversation between the makeup artist, the client, and the camera person is not happening. And maybe that's something that we all need to consider going forward. That as much as the makeup artist is there to make you look beautiful, but as long as you are paying a photographer, you are also aware that your photos need to look good, because you're going to have the photos forever. The makeup artist is doing this for today, but the photographer is doing this for the rest of your life potentially. And you want to look great in those photos for the rest of your life. So I think it's a conversation that needs to be opened. Makeup artists and photographers need to work together at an event to make sure that the client is getting the best of both worlds. Because once the face, because it's always about the face being lighter, to be honest. That's the big one, So once the face is lighter than the rest of the body, there's potential that the photos will be ruined. So I've compiled 4 tips that I think will potentially help in addressing this situation. And here they are. So tip number 1 is blend, blend, blend. This is not for photographers. This is for clients and their makeup artists. The idea here is that the client should make sure that their makeup is blended properly. No photographer is going to tell a makeup artist what to do. Never. No photographer is going to complain to a makeup artist that the work they are doing is going to mess up the photos. The onus is on you as the client to make sure that you are watching and you are making sure that your makeup is blended properly so that the photos are going to look good. The best thing you can do is call your photographer and ask him, how does it look? Will this work for you? And maybe he can take some test shots as the makeup is going on, and then that way he'll be able to say, or she'll be able to say, okay, cool, it looks good, or it's getting a bit too much, maybe let's tone it down a bit. Okay, so first tip is just make sure that your makeup is properly blended and that there are no edges, especially on the jawline. Tip number 2 may seem like an obvious one, but it's a more common issue than people realize, and that is maintain a consistent skin tone throughout your body. This is neck, chest area, face, obviously, and your arms. Because these are the parts that the camera will not miss. No matter what event it is, if you are wearing a sleeveless top, or even if a normal t-shirt like this, your arms are going to be in the photos. Your neck will be in the photos. If your chest is exposed, your chest area is going to be in the photos. All these body parts must have a consistent skin tone. And because your arms are not getting made up and your chest is not getting any makeup on it, the best way is to make sure that your skin tone is maintained on your face and it looks the same everywhere. Use foundation that looks the same as your skin tone. Don't use foundation that's lighter than your skin, because in the photos, it really looks weird sometimes. Tip number 3 is try and avoid shiny blush. There's a trend, people having golden blush and silver blush. It looks cute, I won't lie. But the problem is sometimes it can reflect, and when it reflects the light from the flash, it can look a bit weird. And when we start to edit, it can get in the way, because now you have these little super bright spots on your cheek, and sometimes in the photos it can look a bit weird. So I would just say stick to soft blush. The color is fine, you can have your golden blush, but not like super shiny blush, because at times it can really get in the way. And then the final tip is less is more. I feel, and this is a very personal one, it's like the less makeup you do properly, the better it can look in the photos. For example, if you had just foundation and some nice eyeshadow color and you have a bit of blush, it can look better than having some of these full-on face beat contour things that I see happening. Because then when we edit those, sometimes we have to tone down some colors and tone down certain parts of the face just to make sure that it's all even and consistent, and then that's when the problems begin. So I would say just try and stick to soft blush that looks good and complements your skin and complements your face. The idea is to bring out your features, not to create new features on your face. And this has been another Tip Tuesday. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I am Spolens and I am out. Peace.